Carly and the Reaperman came to Oculus Quest this week. Here's our review straight from our weekly VR download podcast. So, Carly and the Reaperman, yes, is not really a new game because it came out a couple of years ago on PSVR and PCVR. It's being published today on the Oculus Quest, developed by Odd Raven Studios, published by Resolution, who we all know for Demio, which is coming soon, Cookout, Blast On, and a bunch of other stuff. The idea here is that it's that interesting play we've seen on asymmetrical multiplayer in VR in the past couple of years, either in co-op or competitive, either local or online. Very standard kind of Astrobot or Moss or just any other Mario gameplay, jumping over blocks and whatnot. And then another player is the Reaperman, who is this VR player who can pick up blocks, use switches, all these kinds of things to help Carly get through the level. And then the Reaperman is always in VR, but the player playing Carly can be like either in VR on the Quest version. There's a free game client you can download to play with them on PC, or you can even play the game fully by yourself in single player now, which is a really, really cool feature.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is one of those concepts that we've seen spoken about a lot in VR over the past few years. I mean, it's something that seems to like come up in Kickstarter campaigns every now and again because it's such an instantly likable and accessible idea, and there's so much potential to it. I think everyone agrees. The problem is you often play these games and people don't know how to flesh out the design past a couple of levels, and you're either repeating yourself or there's ways to clearly break it. Carly and the Reaperman is actually probably the only one of these games that I've played that actually fleshes this stuff out very, very well and is a very considered and incredibly well designed experience from start to finish. There's 8 sets of levels and then some challenge levels, and each one of those introduces like really cool new ideas. So some blocks will float in midair when you let go of them, some will disappear. You'll get like laser grids that you have to block with certain blocks, and then obviously you kind of have to like stack very fast at times to get Carly up higher and higher. And it's always got a really good, interesting sense of invention and variety that you'd kind of expect in like any normal console platformer, right? Like that's the heart of this genre, is that you want to be introducing new ideas and keeping each level fresh. And this absolutely has that, on top of the really, really cool central mechanic of 2 players working together. Me and Xena have played about half of it, and then I played the other half by myself. I thought it worked pretty well in every iteration of the game you could do. We had some real fun in levels like where there's a wall of death chasing you all the time, and you have to run really, really.
Screaming was hard.
yeah, and you have to get through the level really, really quickly. Otherwise, you're going to have to restart it. There are difficulty bumps. Like we also got very, very frustrated when you had to build blocks really, really fast, but an enemy was coming through to like wipe them out, and it was like, I have to be a bit faster here than the VR controllers are really kind of accurate enough or give me enough precision to really nail it. But at the same time, there's also kind of that, in like Breath of the Wild, like the great thing about Breath of the Wild is the physics in that game and the powers it gives you allow you to kind of bypass a lot of the puzzles in your own inventive ways.
Right.
That's kind of the case here as well. Like there's this one challenge where there's this laser grid, and what you're meant to do is like drop a block and have Carly jump behind the block, and then like bypass the lasers that way by taking cover. But it's like the timing is really, really hard, and I tried probably for about 10 minutes and I couldn't do it. And then I just sat back for a second, went and got other blocks in the level, and just built a bridge over the lasers anyway, and had her jump over the laser grid. And
That's
like,
nice,
like technically, that's kind of breaking the game, but it's also just cool how much they trust the player to do that kind of stuff.
Right.
In the experience. I think we had some controls, like it's a little on the scrappy side.
Yeah.
There's some bugs when you're controlling the Reaperman in terms of how Carly is portrayed. She kind of stutters a bit around the screen. Both me and Xena had that experience on the different devices we played with. It's also, like I said, there's those difficulty spikes, which are kind of annoying, but you can kind of brute force them a lot of the time as well if you want. It feels like a fleshed out game. It doesn't feel experimental like other entries in the genre do. It's got multiple hours of content. Each of the levels are really, really well designed. I thought there's lots of innovation, and yeah, I didn't feel like I was playing an experiment. I felt like I was playing a very good, fleshed out console quality platformer, which was a really, really lovely surprise. So yeah, $19.99, and get it on Quest, get it on PSVR, and get it on PC VR.
Cool. 4 to 5 from Jamie Feltham. Says it's got about, probably for most people, like 4 hours, but you could probably push it to 6 or 7 if you're a completionist.
Yeah, the 8 sets of levels, they start out probably taking about 20 minutes, but as they get harder, they push into like the half hours and maybe upwards of an hour for some of the really challenging ones. So I think 4 hours is probably, if you're going to sit down and like determinedly play it, I think 4 hours is probably pretty accurate. And that was our review of Carly and the Reaperman on Oculus Quest. You can check out the full written review over on UploadVR.com and join us every Thursday for the VR download where we break down the latest gaming reviews. See you there.